Welcome to How Do They Afford That, the podcast that peeks into the financial lives of everyday Australians. I'm Michael Thompson. I'm a writer and the co-host of the podcast Fear and Greed Business News. And as always, I'm with Canna Campbell, financial planner and founder of Sugar Mama TV, the financial literacy platform that you will find on Instagram and Threads and YouTube, podcast, books, TikTok, keynote speeches and more. Hello, Canna.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm going well. I'm very excited for today's episode because it is essentially part two of a two-part series that we have done on affordable technology. If you haven't listened to the last episode, maybe stop now. Just pause, hit pause, go back and listen to that one because we talked all about affordable mobile technology, mobile phones and wearables, smartwatches, all that kind of thing. We do not have the expertise between us, Canna, you and I. I think if we were talking about superannuation, we would be fine because we have you. If we were talking about investing or financial advice or anything, we're okay. When it comes to technology, we need help.
Considering I have anxiety about charging my phone and letting it sit there and charge my phone, we can definitely say we have NFI. Well, I have NFI.
Okay, all right. That's quite an extreme start. But we are joined in the studio once again by Stephen Fennick, one of Australia's top technology journalists, the editor of techguide.com.au. Stephen, welcome back to How Do They Afford That?
Great to be here. How are you going?
We are good. I don't know whether Canna has any money left after the last episode. She busted out of the studio.
Yep.
Off to buy some new phones and a new Apple Watch and all of these things. We need to cover some other tech today because TV shopping or computer shopping with me is an absolute nightmare because I do not know where to start.
Okay.
I walk into kind of a shop, whether it's kind of Harvey Norman or any one of those.
I feel like any type of shopping with you would be a nightmare. Like I've seen what type of air fryer you bought and I was like, oh my wow.
Feels like you just
dominated your whole entire kitchen. It's very bigger than your oven.
It actually is, but we use it more than the oven now, so it's okay.
That was good advice from me.
So you just criticised me and then you take the credit.
Air fry, not buy the one the size of a Mazda 3.
Yeah, but when you've got kids and you need to cook like 20 nuggets at a time, you're going to need the bigger air fryer. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point. What we are talking about here is if you go into a shop and you're looking at the wall of TVs, for instance, it is so easy to be overwhelmed and you kind of go straight to the brands that you know. You go to your Sony or you go to your Samsung or you go to your LG and how on earth are you comparing like for like and trying to decide what is value for money? And I feel like there is a risk of just being drawn to probably the more expensive one because you assume it costs more.
Yep.
It is going to be better quality. Apparently, we're starting with TVs because it's just where I launched into.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I think when you consider a television, it's not something you buy often. You normally, like 8 years, normally people have their television for. So you can imagine last time you bought a TV was 8 years is a long time in technology.
Yeah.
So they're out there looking at the whole new market of 4K and quantum dot technology and all these things, these features that didn't exist for their other TV. So I think what a customer needs to do is look at the size they want, and we're going bigger. TV sizes, it's go big or go home now. We're 75, 85, 100-inch TVs we're buying. There is value in those large sizes still.
But do you lose quality? That's
No, you don't. No, you usually will. You can't not buy a 4K TV. Every TV is 4K. You can even buy an 8K TV if you wanted to spend the extra money. But 4K is fine. I think you just need to look for those factors: the size, and obviously the brand as well, and where you're going to watch it, the conditions as well.
On that, where you're going to watch it and the size. Yeah. And this is really, we're getting off topic here, but I'm so curious about this. Is there some science behind how far back you need to be from a TV? Because when you see kind of these 80-inch TVs or 100 inches, and you're like, surely you must have a room that is so deep in order to be able to sit back and see it. Otherwise, it's like sitting in the front row of the cinema. Yeah,
years ago, the formula was whatever the screen size is, you should sit 2.5 times away from it. So, but that was an old formula because back with the HD TVs, if you sat too close, you could see the pixels. Oh. So now with 4K and 8K, I think that formula's sort of been thrown out the window a little bit. So it's maybe 2 times what the size of the TV is, even 1.5 times what the size of the TV is, because even though you're sitting close, it's still going to be quite sharp and clear.
Okay.
And yeah, obviously size, we're talking about size, that affects the price too. So if the bigger the TV, the more it's going to cost. But it is a very competitive market. We're seeing obviously Samsung is the leader. You've got LG in the market as well. They also see all these big brands have good, better, best options in TV. So you can buy the top of the line TV for $12,000 or the entry level TV for $2,999.
Can I put you on the spot here then and say we have a standard family, which is that is not a thing, but just a normal family usage. Perhaps they watch some movies, watch a bit of sport, generally watching Netflix and things like this. What is, and looking at a medium size, let's say, what's an average size? Say
65 inch.
65 inch. Yep. What would be the best value TV out there at the moment?
I would have a look at either the Samsung Crystal UHD, which is kind of their entry-level 4K TVs, which is still quite high quality, or also Hisense. Hisense in the last few years have really made a really huge surge in the market. They're a Chinese brand, and they're basically taken the place of Panasonic. Panasonic no longer sell TVs in Australia.
Okay.
So they've sort of become one of what I call the big four. So you got your Samsung, Sony, LG. Hisense has now become that fourth brand. So they offer a lot of value. So like inch to inch cost-wise, I think you're getting a lot of value from Hisense. But other brands to look out for that are also pretty aggressive, companies like TCL. TCL's actually a display company. We mentioned them in the previous show. They make phones as well. So they make screens from phone size to TV size. They offer a lot of value. And the good thing with the TCL TVs is the sound quality is also pretty good as well. So you don't have to buy a sound bar. The sound quality is already built in. So that's an option. Also, I'm sure you've heard of Kogan. Kogan has been selling TVs online for many years.
This brings me to my next question.
The selling point for a lot of the Kogan TVs, and I think we were talking off air about this, is that the panels in a Kogan TV are often made by Samsung. So you're getting a Samsung panel in a Kogan TV. Even Aldi sell their Born TVs. Those panels are often LG. Often they have the LG software running on board as well. So you can have the quality but have the value at the same time.
This is my question, like about the white labeling. You know, are you really buying a cheap TV that's really got like the Sony or the Samsung or the LG technology behind it?
Yeah, well, it's. I wrote a story years ago, like who actually made my TV. So which panel am I looking at? Like a Sony OLED TV, for example. That OLED panel is made by LG. LG makes OLED, and they sell it to other brands. So
They're in with each other.
Well, they're just doing business, I guess, buying different parts and components. But here's a tip, right?
So not quite the TV cartel that that Ken is trying to allege.
Your TV is something that's really important. You use it every day. We're streaming. We're watching sport, watching a lot of our entertainment on it. So the temptation is to buy a new television. But there are ways to turn an older TV into a smart TV with a product called the Google Chromecast. So if you spend $99, you can plug this into your TV, and you then are given an interface that then allows you to watch Netflix and all the streaming services. Because that's another reason why people upgrade, is they want to have the streaming services. Their TV's older, and they think, I can't watch Netflix, I can't watch Paramount Plus, I can't watch 9 Now. But they spend $99, and that will turn that old TV into a smart TV. So rather than spending $3,000 on a new telly, that could be an option. Spend $99 on a Google Chromecast, and you've got all those streaming services right at your fingertips.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Where do you... It's okay, we won't be talking about ear canals or my conspiracy theory with the television manufacturers. Where do you buy your technology? Like if you've got to, say you're moving house and you're doing a whole new fit out, is there a store of preference? Asking for a friend, of course.
I think there's no real one place that you get the best deal. I think if you shop around, there's a lot of specials, JB, Harvey's, Bingley, you name them, they all compete on price. So I think, if you do your homework, all the catalogues always have all the TVs on the front of there because they know it's an item that they can move. Another tip too would be, normally, obviously, like phones, TVs are updated every year as well. So the 2024 models, of course, are going to be the latest and greatest and more expensive. They often have a run out on last year's TVs. You can get a bargain on the 2023 TV. So I would ask for that. They often advertise these run out sales where you get save thousands of dollars. Last year's TV is still excellent. This year's TV is newer and more expensive. So that's an option to save a bit of money as well.
That is a great tip. All right, so summarising TVs, the things that you need to consider when you're going in there are the size that you're looking for, what you're going to use it for, the location where you're going to be watching it, the conditions, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Then consider the brands and kind of Samsung as the leader, you said?
Samsung, LG, Sony, yeah. Hisense is another really sort of top tier brand that's offering a lot of value, sort of like inch per inch. I think the best value is Hisense at the moment. Yeah.
And then you get into the lower price bracket, which is, say, your TCL, and then even further Kogan and Born from Aldi.
Which often have panels that are made by Samsung and LG and all these other companies. So obviously, look, I compare the value you get from Kogan and Born and Aldi and those brands. People say to me, look, are they good? I say, well, look, if you want to buy a Mercedes-Benz, then that's the best experience if you want to drive, okay? But if you want to buy a Kia, it's still going to get you where you need to go, but it's going to be a lot cheaper. The quality might not be as high, but it's still going to do what you need it to do. So there's that thing to consider as well.
And then I suppose the question with the Born TV is like, if it's got potentially an LG panel, is it like an LG TV or is it a Born TV? It's really struggling with its Born identity.
Oh my God, that was the worst dad
not
joke.
Not bad.
That was quite the setup, wasn't it? And I figure, I know you're a movie buff. I figured that
I got it straight away, mate. Yeah.
There's one person
Matt
here
Damon.
who will appreciate this. It is Stephen Fennick. It is not Hannah Campbell.
Most definitely not. And also for our other, 55,000 listeners today, they won't appreciate it either.
I think everyone appreciates that. Let's move on from TVs and from excellent jokes. Let's go to, just judging myself there, computers.
Yes.
So I don't mean to start everything with Apple, as we did last time, but I am an Apple user, and so I kind of go straight to the MacBook.
I'm a Mac user too. I've got a Mac Studio as my desktop computer with an external monitor, and I've got a MacBook Air at the moment.
Does a computer come down to, in terms of what you're going to spend on it, does it all come down to what you need it for? For instance, if you need a computer for work, for design, for gaming or something like that, I imagine the price that you pay is going to be dictated by what you need it for.
Absolutely right. So if you want to, let's use gaming, start with that. So you need a bigger screen to enjoy the game. You also need a faster processor to make sure that you're getting the best experience. So that puts that at a higher bracket. Okay. If you're a videographer or a photographer or a creative professional, then you would similarly need high processing power, bigger screen to do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. If you, and I get this question a lot, if I want to buy a laptop, my question is, well, what are you going to use it for? Oh, just to check email, browse the web. And often the solution under $1,000, if it's a Windows computer, even under $800, you can buy a Lenovo, a HP, Acer, Asus. All these brands have sub $1,000 laptops, and will do exactly what you need them to do, because there's not a lot of the processing power is not you don't need a lot of processing power to browse the web and to check an email. But my other advice to a lot of customers looking to get a laptop is, I think they should consider a tablet as the alternative.
Oh yeah.
So rather than buying a laptop, buy a tablet and attach a keyboard, especially if you're only just going to browse the web, check emails. Then why go to that, spend extra money, but also go to the extra trouble of having another computer? A tablet can often be the solution.
I recently did that. Was about to upgrade my laptop, and then I decided, no, I'm just going to get a new tablet, and it's changed my life.
And tablets can be quite a bit cheaper, can't they?
They can be cheaper. You can, like everything, you can spend thousands of dollars on a tablet, like the latest iPad Pro or the new Samsung Tab S9. That you can spend as much as you want. But there are a lot of other brands, like Samsung included. Apple iPad, you can buy it for under $600 now. So there are alternatives to the laptop, especially if you're only going to use it for pretty what I call casual usage. But again, if you want to play games or you need that processing power, then you've got to consider the options of a bigger screen, faster processor. So that really determines the budget that you're playing in.
And say you didn't really know what you needed. Is this the kind of thing that you could go into a shop, for instance, and talk to the salesperson and just say, this is what I need? I was listening to How Do They Afford That? I was listening to Stephen Fennick, and he said, if I don't need it for gaming, if I don't need it for this, to look at this. And they should be able to help you
they
find
should,
something
absolutely.
that's for your needs.
What's happened recently is the release of, AI is the buzzword everywhere now.
Yep.
So there's a new class of laptops called Copilot Plus PC. So these are basically AI PCs. And being new technology, they're a bit on the expensive side. So now what's happened, the PC market now has two halves, Copilot Plus PC and the non-Copilot Plus PC, which if the non-Copilot Plus now has created this much cheaper market of laptops.
Okay.
So there is the affordability now is even higher. If AI is something you don't want to use on the device, if you're happy to go off to ChatGPT whenever you need your AI, then these cheaper laptops now they exist in the market. The retailers are happy that they've got a more expensive PC to sell with the Copilot Plus PC, but now the non-Copilot Plus PCs, the normal laptops, I call them, they've come right down in price.
What about then for, say, your Zoom calls and things? Should you be looking at the quality of the camera in there and the microphone that's built in? Are these the factors as well that you should be
Totally
considering?
right. Yeah, there are a lot of the selling points now. Like they know a lot of people work remotely, work from home, and that video conferencing is now part of your day-to-day workflow. And so there are a lot of brands that have cameras that have been optimized for, that are sensitive to light and can do noise cancellation and have all those features. So they're absolutely features that are even on entry-level laptops now, you'll see that those features taken into consideration.
So really, I mean, you do not need to go for your top-end Apple, your top-end products if you are not necessarily going to be using all of the features, and you don't need that amount of processing power that Lenovo, HP, potentially even a tablet with a keyboard kind of plugged into it, all these Copilot Plus computers, which are essentially your older,
just your regular Windows 11 computers, and even the Mac. You talk about the MacBook Air, like that's only you can get it, I think, for $1,500 now. So that's the entry level on a MacBook Air has become a little bit more affordable. But again, it's like the phones. You're either an iPhone user or an Android user. In this instance, you're either a Mac or a PC, and obviously PC. 80% of the world's computers are run Windows, so a lot more choices on the PC side.
Where do you stand, Canna?
Oh, I'm an Apple. I'm Mac.
Yes.
Everything in my life. Don't interrupt the flow, okay? Because I may
me
start
too.
crying.
Yeah, I've been a Mac user for 30 years. I've been a Mac user.
Yeah. 30 years.
Yes. My first computer was the Apple LC2. I bought it in 1992.
Do you still have it?
I don't. No, I sold it to get my next one.
To a museum.
It's the kind of thing that if you still had it, that would be extraordinary, wouldn't it?
Well, it is in a museum. There is a computer museum in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley. There, it's interesting.
That is amazing. All right, we have covered computers. We have covered TVs. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back on some things.
Excited.
Oh gosh, you've been just itching to discuss this, haven't you? We are talking about smart speakers, smart homes, all of the things that make your house
Schmick.
Schmick was not the word I was going to use, but we're going to roll with it. We will come back in a second and discuss making your house schmick. Canna, we are talking affordable technology today. We have covered TVs, we have covered computers, and now we are getting into the part that really, really excites you. Sound and making your house everything work when you need it to. We are joined in the studio today by Stephen Fennick, the editor of techguide.com.au, who knows, I reckon, more than any, this is going to overstate it, more than any human being alive about all gadgets ever.
Wow, that's a big claim. But I try my best.
Yes, well, you certainly know more than anyone in the studio, about, which with Canna and I is a very low bar that you had to step over. Let's start with smart speakers, shall we? Because they were big. There was so much attention and so much excitement about
surround sound.
Yeah, and Alexa and your
and Google Assistant.
Yep, and all of these, and they don't maybe this is wrong, but they don't seem to be as big in Australia, perhaps as they are elsewhere in the world, perhaps in the US.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to that point?
Yeah, well, they are still big. I think the initial surge, the initial interest, really everyone invested early, and then the levels of sales have sort of been steady.
Okay.
So everyone was talking about them because they were new, but they're still quite a popular product, and a lot of people, they buy more than one as well because they're actually quite affordable now. You can buy an Echo for like under $50, an Echo little spot speaker, and even the Google Assistant speakers are quite cheap as well. So I know at my place we've got several Alexas around the house, so it's an easy way to communicate with everyone in the house. So you might want to, you got smart speakers, you can actually on Alexa you can do what they call a drop-in. So you might say communicate with, say, your child's in their room, and you might say from the kitchen, dinner's ready, and it'll come through their speaker to say that rather than you yelling across the house.
I'm just having to yell.
Just yell.
Yell loudly. My whole neighborhood.
That's a feature. But it's become, I think, a good starting point because everyone's talking smart homes and smart products. The smart speaker is a great little way to start, and a great gift to give to someone because they can build on it. They can now add a smart light and then tell the speaker turn the light off or turn the light red or turn it off at 9 o'clock, and so they can set these little rules in the house.
Which one though do you choose? Because if you buy, say you were gifting somebody one, and you buy them a smart speaker.
Yeah.
Are you then kind of confining them to only that certain brand if they need all of their house to talk to everything else within the house?
Yeah.
And you buy an Echo.
Yep.
Are you limiting their options?
No, you're not, because there's a new technology called Matter. So this is like a consistent technology that unites every brand. So consider Matter to be like Bluetooth on your phone.
Okay.
So you can use any brand of earphones and any phone. As long as it's got Bluetooth, it's going to connect the two devices. So that's what Matter is for your smart home now. So no matter what brand you buy, whether you got an Echo or a Google Assistant or a Arlo security camera or a Philips smart light, they're all going to talk to each other now thanks to this new Matter. And that's on the packaging whenever you buy it. So you know that you're not going to be left with a relic. You're not going to be stranded with something you can't use. So again, that's why smart speakers are a great way to start, because you can build on that system, add a light, add a smart switch, add a security camera. It's really becoming, and quite affordable too, which is the good news, that these products, you can buy a smart switch now for $10. And you plug that in the wall, you plug something into the smart switch, and then that product that's plugged into it can now be controlled using your app or using your routines in your house. So, for example, you might have a fan, plug the fan into the smart switch. You can then remotely turn the fan on, turn it off, see if it's on, see if it's off, plug the iron into it. So you can tell if you've left the iron on looking at your phone. So these are little things that make your house smarter, and they don't cost you a lot of money.
Spy on my dogs, see what they're chewing.
Yeah,
and
well,
destroying.
cameras they've come a long way. Security cameras, you can get for under $100. You get a security camera that will be able to check your pets, check your children, check your home, check your office. You can get notifications when there's a movement or sound. Delivery. You know, when you got a parcel at the doorstep as well. Yeah.
Okay. Because I see a lot of people with is it a Ring?
Yeah, there's Ring doorbell. There's the Arlo doorbell. Google Nest has a doorbell as well. All pretty affordable, couple $100, and you can talk to whoever's at your front door. I think someone rang my doorbell while we were recording right now. So you can, I talk to someone at my door 3 times a day because they're delivering review products and picking up stuff, and so you're able to answer your door without being home. But it's also a security camera as well that can tell if there's someone there, a package or whatever is at your front doorstep.
I'm going to confess, I find it overwhelming. I find the idea of it overwhelming in terms of getting it set up.
Yes, that's what I was about to say as well.
Is it hard? Say let's just start with the doorbell, because I would find that I would love to be able to know who was at the door.
Yeah.
And then I can stay well hidden inside the house if it's someone that I don't want, if I don't want to talk to.
Sure.
How do you go about setting it up?
It's really easy, actually. It's all done through your home Wi-Fi. So whatever product you get, it'll attach to your home Wi-Fi and just be part of your network.
So do you need one
really
app
easy
for each gadget?
Not always. There are on Samsung they have an app called Smart Things, which gathers them all. On Apple they've got an app called HomeKit, that also unites them all as well. And you can, if you've got a smart speaker, you don't even need an app. You can talk to them and say, well, turn the lights off in the kitchen, or if you've set routines as well, a lot of it happens by itself. But the good thing about the smart speaker is you can issue the command and it'll do, like if you've got a robot vacuum cleaner, for example, you might say, go clean the mess in the kitchen, and it'll start up and go into the kitchen, because all of these devices are Google Assistant compatible, Alexa compatible, so they just become part of your network.
And we have touched on this on a previous episode. Some insurance companies, such as I think True, will actually give you a bit of a discount on your insurance premiums if you have a smart home with certain devices set up, because it can sense water
security
damage
cameras.
and break-ins and
well, there's all sensors you can buy. You can buy sensors that can sense water leaks, and sensors that know if a door or a window's been opened, and the cameras can listen out as well as see any movement, so you get notifications. And so if you've got security on your home, you can monitor your home from anywhere.
So it may pay for itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap things up on the smart home side, can we make a little bit of a list?
Sure.
Right? Because at the moment, assume that my home is not a smart home. That's a fairly safe assumption to make. Say I wanted it to meet the kind of definition of being a smarter home. What am I going to need? And I'm going to put together some costs for this as we go. So
I can give you the costs as we go. If you like a smart speaker, less than $100. A security camera, let's start with the doorbell. Doorbell you can buy. There are brands like Laser and Connect, and these different retailers have their own little home brands. For under $100, you can get a doorbell. Security cameras I've mentioned can be from $99 up to, I think there's the Arlo Essential is I think $159. Smart lights, you can buy a bulb for $12. You can buy a smart switch for $10. So suddenly now you've got this little ecosystem that you can then within the app set rules, like at 9 o'clock, turn all the lights off, 8 a.m., turn them all on, or lift the blinds or whatever. So you can start off. That's the beauty of having the smart products. You can start off pretty affordably and then build on it as you go. So you don't have to spend all your money at once. You can space it out.
I think you've just made Michael's year. He's glowing.
And now I'm set for kind of Christmas presents and birthday and Father's Day and all of these, because it's just, okay, I want something else to smartify the house. And in doing so, I've proven myself not to be qualified for a smart home. Yeah. Okay, so just final question on the smart speaker. Which one is your favourite?
I use the Echo Show 5, which is a smart speaker with a 5-inch display. So I can not only talk to it, but also look at it as well. So it gives me weather, little news updates. I can look at my to-do lists on it as well. So but there are other Echoes that have no displays. They're called the Echo Dot, which is like under $100, and it can display the time on it. And I mostly use my smart speakers to listen to the radio. Okay. So I just say, hey, Alexa, play whatever radio station I want to listen to, and that's another handy use for your smart speaker as well.
And the audio quality's okay?
Fantastic, yeah.
I have learnt an awful lot.
So have I.
You know what? I think you've achieved the impossible. You have made me not feel overwhelmed by the idea of a smart home. And just adding those costs up, we are looking at getting the basics here for, say, $300, $400.
Yep.
And then you just kind of add on more switches and more light bulbs as you need it. And I love the idea of if you were to have a switch, right, could you then plug that in, and then I could get the coffee machine to turn on at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yep. That's part of you can set that up as a schedule. You can schedule stuff to turn on and off. You can even, for the fan example, you can say turn on when it hits 28 degrees every day, turn the fan on.
Huh.
And that's part of the whole convenience of having a smart home.
Huh.
Yeah. You can go even deeper. There's a lot of homes that people fully kit out their homes with smart systems so that they can have their curtains foot drop when it reaches a certain temperature to keep the house cool. And not only for convenience, but also saves a lot of energy too. You're saving on your power bills. Because if you can reduce your energy consumption or water usage too, there's smart products that can help you do all of that.
Wow.
Is your mind as blown as mine is right now, Hannah?
No. All I now need is someone to do my laundry, walk the dogs, cook dinner.
Yeah.
Well, you
And
can
then we're
walk the
great.
dogs with one of the robot vacuums. Just attach the leash. I'm assuming.
Yeah, or the cats like to. I call the robot vacuums the cat magic carpet. The cats love to ride on the robot vacuums. Have you seen those? I'm sure you've seen those videos online.
I haven't. I've seen them. People make like little tanks and things and
Yeah.
put them on top of it and they have a little battle between the
A
two.
lot of the robots now have cameras. The robot vacuums have cameras, so you can actually use them like a security camera. You can check in on your pets. So you can actually steer that through the house and check on your pets, your kids.
Can you
That's
yell
part of-
through them to
and
stop
also
chewing?
clean at the same time. Yeah, you can talk through them as well, the speakers as well.
You have helped us enormously today, Stephen. Thank you so much for coming in.
It was my pleasure, mate.
That was Stephen Fennick, one of Australia's top technology journalists and the editor of techguide.com.au. If you do nothing else today, go to that website and check out Stephen's reviews of all the different products, everything that we're talking about today. You will find it all over the website, and it is definitely worth a look before you make any future purchases. Canna,
Let's not even go there. Don't even. I'm just blown away. I didn't think we could outdo our previous episode, and I'm just lost for words.
I have a shopping list a mile long.
So do I.
It is extraordinary, isn't it? We're going to have some fun. Canna, if we want to find out anything more from you or to actually see your progress in turning your house into a smart home, where do we find you?
You better follow me on Canna Campbell Official, because that's where I sort of share the disturbing reality of my real life, and that includes all the technology advancements.
That is on Instagram, so check Canna out there, and you can hear me every day with Sean Aylmer on Fear and Greed, business news for people who make their own decisions. Thank you very much for listening to How Do They Afford That? Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and the very best thing you can do is to tell somebody else or send them this episode. Spread the word about How Do They Afford That? Thank you for your company. Join us again next week.